Hello my fellow book addicts, Megan here, and time for another book to movie adaptation video. It took me long enough to get to this, but today I am finally going to be talking about Percy Jackson in the Sea of Monsters movie. So, unlike the first one, I actually did see this in theaters. I thankfully only paid like $5 to go in. Me and my friends went to see it like one of the last weeks it was playing at this tiny little theater, and we basically went to just kind of laugh at it because we all read the books, we all loved the books, and we all had a shared hatred for the movies. We were bored. It was only $5. We figured why not. And I haven't seen this movie since then. And this was back in like 2013, I think. So it's been a hot minute. And I actually don't think we saw the beginning to this. I think we got to the movies late, so we missed like the first couple minutes, first 5 minutes or so. But none of us really cared because we paid $5 and it was this movie. So there's a good chance I have never seen the beginning of this. So that will be interesting to see what kind of difference it makes. As well as, you know, 6 years of time difference. So, yeah, let's dive into this, I guess. So, I do like how we finally get Talia's story. I mean, we should have gotten that in the first book, you know, since it plays a part in Grover's motivation and, you know, saves us from having too much more thrown at us in the second, but whatever. You know, the story is at least getting somewhat on track. Oh, and yeah, we're finally getting characters that we should have been introduced from the beginning, Mr. D and Clarice. And I will admit, I did enjoy Clarice and Mr. D. Mr. D was funny. I think they did a good job with him. Oh, and hey, they make Annabeth slightly blonde in this one, as if to hopefully make us forget that she wasn't in the first one. Yeah, too bad movie. We didn't forget. We did not forget. And also, it looked so fake, honestly. It was just like, that is clearly just slightly bleached hair. But that's me being probably a little nitpicky, but you know what? Well, it's like clear they're trying to go to the source material, like, oh crap, she's supposed to be blonde, let's do this half-ass fix, and it's just like, you know, you were probably better off just leaving her brunette at that point. It was a half-ass fix in my opinion. So, going in, I was iffy how they handled and introduced Tyson's character. I don't know how I feel about it, though I will admit, Tyson definitely grew on me throughout the movie, or at least the movie Tyson. And also, you know, at least at this age now, I'm like, okay, I fully acknowledge they can't do a mirror copy of the book in one movie. It just won't work time-wise, so they gotta change some things to make it work with the time frame. So, you know, I'll cut them a little slack on Tyson. Though, the stupid, like, canned mist thing, I'm just like, why? That's not how the mist works. That is not how the mist works. It was just, I don't like how they did that. Maybe for someone who didn't read the books, it could have come off as clever and interesting, but knowing the source material, it's like, no, that's dumb. And once again in this movie, I can't take Luke seriously. I don't know if it's a combination of the writing to them trying to make Percy Jackson a little more, I don't know, dark isn't the right word, neither is edgy, but trying to like make it more suitable for older audiences. I don't know if it's a combination of them trying too hard again, or if it's the fact that whenever I see Luke, all I can see is Adam from Supernatural. Literally, every time he comes up on screen, I'm just like, who let Adam out of the cage? Just, as an antagonist, I just could not take him seriously at all. One thing I will grudgingly admit for this movie, at least they were attempting to go back to the source material of the books. You can see that from them, you know, casting Clarice and Mr. D, and finally bringing in the prophecy. You know, I can appreciate that they were trying in this one, but It was far too little and far too late. You know, now they're trying to cram 2 books worth of info and backstory into one, and it just, in my opinion, it didn't work out too well. I will admit, like, the Oracle was kind of cool. I enjoyed that. Oh, and, you know, the fact that I actually added the Oracle and Prophecy in. Though it kind of kills me how they changed, like, the whole story with Kronos. Not just from the books, but from mythology in general. Or, I don't know, maybe my notes are off and I'm remembering it wrong. Technically, they all did overthrow Kronos, but first it was just Zeus freeing his siblings from being eaten alive by Kronos. Also, it's been a little while since I've read Sea of Monsters, so I do remember it wasn't Percy that got the prophecy to go to the Sea of Monsters. It was Clarice who was supposed to, and I can't remember what Clarice's prophecy said. To me, it just them tacking on the bit about the Golden Fleece to the prophecy about the Big Three's kid. And I get they probably had to do that to get the plot going, and it was the most logical choice to get the plot going. But I'm just like, that's not part of the real prophecy, guys. Why are you doing this? But nitpicky. I acknowledge that I am just being nitpicky. Okay, the cab scene was kind of cool. It got, I don't want to say a few giggles out of me, because it didn't, but you know, it got a hint of a smile from me. I found it somewhat amusing, and you know, we get some of the humor that is part of the original source material. Nathan Fillion as Hermes, will admit that I enjoyed that. I also just love Nathan Fillion, so I'm just like, yay! Why the hell are you involved in this movie? But George and Martha, I adored. I love that we got them. And, you know, once again, a little bit more towards the book humor. Okay, the Hippocampus, I think I'm saying that right, was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was so cool to watch and look at. And, okay, I know there are no other sequels in this attempt at the Percy Jackson franchise, but it still kind of annoys me that we find out that Selena Beauregard is a traitor in this one, where she was supposed to be kind of like a secret agent up until the last book. Also, whose idea was it to put on the, you know, why you on my roof, get off my roof, or whatever the line was from Luke? I'm just like, guys, that was not as funny as you probably thought it was going to turn out. I don't know if it was the delivery or just the line is just bad or whatever. I'm just like, whose idea was it to put that line in? And I will admit, Tyson being so fond of Percy, to me, feels a bit off. I mean, in the book, they spent like a year hanging out together, going to the same school, Percy sticking up for him and sticking by him, being his friend. So, in the book, it makes more sense for him to be fond and be super happy that Percy is his brother. Because it's like, cool, we're friends, but now we're brothers, oh my god. So, you know, it makes a little more sense to me, him being close and fond of Percy. In the movie, it's like, you've known each other like 2 days. So him being so attached and fond of Percy and being like, well, you're my brother. It's like, okay, you may share a parent, but you don't know each other. So it's just like, him being so attached to Percy, just, it doesn't fit to me. The intro to the Sea of Monsters and the Guardian of it was cool, I'll admit that. And the whole escape scene from the stomach was also cool, I will give it that. I do like how they managed to squeeze in Grover pretending to be a Cyclops lady. Though I do wish they had managed to throw in that little, like, nobody bits that they did in the book, Annabeth with her cap of invisibility. I have very, very mixed feelings about the fleece actually being used to raise Kronos. I know that was the plan for Luke and his evil crew of demigods in the second one. I get that was the plan, but the fact that they actually did it in the movie, I have so many mixed feelings about. And then the whole purpose of why was Kronos eating people? Like, in the mythology, he ate his children so that his children could not grow up to overthrow him. It wasn't like, as far as I know at least, in the mythology, he didn't go around just randomly eating people. So it's like, what was the point of that? And especially him turning on Luke like he did. And yeah, for a Titan, Kronos fell pretty damn easily. I know he was just revived after millennia of being in pieces, but it's like, it felt way too easy to beat him. So yeah, overall, while I do think that this one was a little better than Lightning Thief, you know, them actually trying to like backpedal and put effort into making it a little more like the books. It is, and I will admit, I don't hate it as much as I did when it first came out, but it's still far from a good adaptation. Like the first one, if I didn't have this attachment to the books, maybe I would have enjoyed it. I know my mom enjoyed it when she watched it with my nephew, neither of which have read any of the books. They liked it. So, for someone just jumping in to the whole Percy Jackson franchise from the movies with no prior knowledge of anything, yeah, this could have been enjoyable. Still, in my mind, not a great adaptation. I mean, clearly it seemed like they had plans to make the other books in the movies, and because of that, I dislike the fact that they actually revived Kronos even more. Because to me, as I was reading the books, one of the biggest things to me was we never actually saw Kronos. Like, we know the sarcophagus he was in, but we never actually saw Kronos. So you had all this build-up to this villain. You never actually see him until the end. And even then, he's possessing Luke. So the fact that they actually managed to revive Kronos and then beat him in this movie, I feel it took away from a lot of that build-up. Because if they continued on with the movies, it'd be just kind of like, they beat Kronos once. Clearly they're going to be able to do it again, you know? So it's like, it took away from some of that build-up. It took away from some of the intimidation factor of Kronos as an antagonist. And then Luke. If they brought him back in, it's like, well, I doubt he'd go back to serving Kronos if Kronos was so willing to betray him again. It's like, it felt like a poor move if they wanted Luke to continue serving Kronos in the future. Because it's like, why is he going to want to go back and serve him now? You're going to have to come up with a reason now. And just, watching this movie, it once again just made me feel sad. Sad that these awesome books didn't get the movie adaptation that they could have and should have gotten. Seriously, like many people out there, I feel Percy Jackson could have been as big, if not even bigger, than Harry Potter. If only they had gotten better adaptations. Just makes me happy that we have the Lightning Thief musical, which, for if anyone hasn't heard of it, go check it out. It's awesome. It's the adaptation that we deserve. Though I do still really wish and hope someday that we do get like a movie or TV show adaptation. TV show would probably be a little bit better because you can get more info in there, you can get more stuff happening. But one day, hopefully, fingers crossed. So yeah, those are my thoughts and opinions on the Sea of Monsters movie. For anyone who is still watching up at this point, what do you think? Have you ever seen this movie? Have you been purposely avoiding it? Do you refuse to watch it? If you watched it, what do you think? Is it a decent adaptation? Is it just outright blasphemy? Do you like that they were at least attempting to go back to the original source material, or did you think it was just too much obvious backpedaling to try and save the franchise? Let me know. Let's get a discussion going. So that is it for this video, and I hope to see you guys next time.